Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the
What up?
No Picks podcast. What's good, family?
Good to see
What's up,
y'all
Ty?
again. I mean, we had the first couple episodes. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. This is
Yes,
Ty.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We want to keep the ball rolling. We want to keep the momentum going. Like I said, we're up and coming. We're trying to gain some momentum. So we're going to be putting out content. We're going to be having some interesting conversations, lots of interesting conversations.
Yeah,
We hope you've enjoyed our past, our last episode. We talked about the Justice Hilarious controversy. That was some good dialogue there, bro. We
yeah, it was.
talked
It
about a
was.
lot of important
Yeah.
things,
The one
interesting
before that
things.
was about the pandemic and how the pandemic in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
yeah,
guys haven't
yeah.
checked
The
that out, check
pandemic in
those both
Philly.
out before you check this out. I mean,
Yeah, check them out, y'all. And as you're watching and hearing, please, like we said at the end of the last video, give us feedback, share it, chime in, give us your perspectives. If you feel like something resonated with you, please join us in the future. In the near future, we will be having guests, and hopefully, people will be calling in and having these bigger conversations on live stream and things like that. Like we're thinking big, so we're
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get this
yeah,
ball rolling. We're trying to get the content out there. We're gonna clip it up, make some shorts, and try to
yeah,
get the word out there.
yeah. We're trying to
But yeah,
probably get other guys, have the ladies chime in, give their perspective on things.
yeah.
So you're not just hearing from us two all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But with that said, we are going to. So we thought that we should take an episode, and we know this is going to be an installment, just like the last episode that we made. But to kind of talk about men, right, and men's issues, and we thought, how do we talk about issues within issues among men? And we tried to frame it to make it very specific, right? So, what are some issues that men in society now have to work through, that we have to figure out, that we have to work, that we have to do better,
Right, right.
without blaming the opposite gender.
Yes, that was like a very that was the focal point of our argument because of our conversation about this because we got to make sure that we're not saying, oh well, men are doing this because women are doing this, and I think for the most part, for me, it kind of defeats the purpose of any kind of dialogue because then both of us are just attacking each other.
Right,
Right,
absolutely. I hate whataboutism. Like, well, what about
right.
this?
What
What
about
about
this?
that?
Yeah,
No, no, no. We're
exactly.
talking about you. We're talking about y'all. We're talking
Right,
about us. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to take accountability for some of these things. Like I said, these are opinions, but they're also coming from lived experience, from asking people, what do you think are some issues that men have to work through, or how
right,
do we have to level up in some ways? So we're not going to get through the entire list because there's so many things we want to talk about. So we will
yeah,
make future installments with our other points. But we figured maybe we hit like five or six of them tonight. Maybe a seventh if we feeling it and we still got time. But we're going to talk about men's issues. So please chime in. We're going to take some accountability tonight. We're trying to set a standard. We're trying to set a precedent. And this is what we're trying to do tonight, right?
we gotta make sure we don't take no pics, no pics. We don't take
No
no
picks,
pics.
no picks.
Everybody can get this work. All right.
Everybody. So, fellas, this one's for y'all. And as they say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, if you ain't one of these types of men, if you're not guilty of these behaviors or these things, if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. However,
Right.
these are things that me and Ty have perceived among men that we really need to work through and we need to get better at, so that we can just do better, just level up, be better versions of ourselves, right?
Right.
So with that said, do you want to get into what's our first point? We said we're going to talk about
Victimization. Right.
yes, yes, yes. And this is, listen, we're talking about men. I don't want to hear men calling talking about what about women. No, no, we're
Right.
talking
No. No. No.
about men,
Us.
right?
What do we have to do specifically?
Victim
Yeah.
mentality. It makes me sick to my
Mm.
stomach. I'm tired of hearing about it, bro. So please
Yeah.
get us started with this. Elaborate a little bit. Let me know where you're coming from with this one.
Yeah. All right. So this is the thing. Right. So I can only talk about this from my perspective. Right. I'm a black male, born and raised in Philadelphia, and what I'm what happens what I see happen far too often is that whenever whenever black men, right, are unsuccessful for whatever reason, we always tend to blame the system in some way, whether it's the white man, um, either the white man or the system, which the two basically are synonymous in the black community, right?
Right.
Um, and I personally think that is some bullshit. So, so whenever we talk about, why the individual person isn't where they feel like they should be in life, we always point to, some form of racism. And I'm not negating the fact that racism exists, right?
Right.
Is it to the point where it was in the 60s and in the 50s and 70s? No, it's not. But is it a factor in life? Yes. But can like, it can't be the system. If two people are raised in the same neighborhood, one person makes one set of decisions and puts their life on a different trajectory, which is, let's say,
Right.
not even college, because I don't think you need college to be successful, right?
And that's
Trade,
facts.
um, you know, um, you know, the issue is we don't take any kind of responsibility when shit doesn't go well for us, and we
Right.
are looking for like a convenient. So for us, the convenient out is the white man, the system, and
Right.
that's like a ever present built-in excuse for anybody that has either A, made the wrong decisions, or B, shit just didn't work out, or C, they just didn't want to put the work in. Right? We gotta acknowledge
Yeah.
that there's a lot of motherfuckers who just are cool with staying in mom's basement, staying in grandma's basement, playing video games, smoking weed, and drinking beer. That
Right.
ain't the
Right.
system. The system didn't make you
Right.
stay in the house, smoke weed, and drink beer. You decided to
Right.
do that.
Right. And it's funny because I'm older now, and it's I can tell I'm maturing. I'm getting more wiser because I feel like I've become so conservative in certain ways.
Right.
Whereas in my 20s, like in college, radicalized, super liberal,
Right.
developing my socialism and my leftist
Yeah.
beliefs. Like I was like,
Free
white
everything for everybody. Boom.
supremacy,
Here you go. There
all
you go.
this, all
Yeah.
that. It's the
Yeah.
man and all these
Yeah.
hurdles and all this and this and that. And granted, like you said, all that is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Racism is alive and well. There is a system of white supremacy that is still operating in the background, that is still benefiting some to the detriment of others. There are still hurdles that are in place. We are not trying to take away the years of policies that you said. We talked about it before, redlining,
Right.
where black or brown people were kept out of certain communities. We're not talking about banks giving out loans to like white individuals and making sure that they had the loans to buy their houses and buy their land. We're not talking about any of those things. We're not talking
Right.
about we know that these things exist. Our whole thing is, at what point do you realize I have agency, right? Because it's true, all these
Yeah.
things are in place, but at what point do you stop and think, okay, damn, these are the cards that I've been dealt.
Right.
Maybe I grew up in the wrong zip code. Maybe I grew up in the rough part of Philly. Maybe I
Right.
grew up in the Diamond Street Projects, or somewhere about Richard Allen Projects. Not there no more, but maybe I started in a rough neighborhood. But like,
Right.
how much agency do we honestly have? Because you can't tell me that there's still you have no options, that there's no way that you can make a better decision, or take a better path, or avoid certain decisions so that you don't end up in jail or dead, or somewhere, or something like that.
Yeah.
um and that pisses me off too, bro, because I'm just
Yeah.
tired of men just blaming shit on someone else, bro. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, not
Yeah.
like you said, nah, nigga, like nobody told you to smoke fucking weed and play
No.
2K all
Nobody
day,
told you to do
my
that.
man.
Nobody told you to do
Nobody told you to go out and hustle on the block when you didn't fucking need to. Now you caught a charge,
that. Right.
and now you struggling because you just got out, and now your options are limited because
And
you
you got
took
a
a
criminal
fucking
record.
stupid ass
Ain't
charge.
nobody trying to fucking hire you. Like these things exist, right? And
No, yeah,
like, so for me, where this whole like the man or the system thing loses all credibility is where, when you look at people from similar circumstances in different decisions that they made, right? So take me for example, right? I didn't come from the best of situations, right? I was raised by my grandma. My mom, let's just say, right? I don't get too specific. Let's just say my mom and dad were too busy doing other stuff, right? Um, Grandma raised me. I spent some time in foster care, and my grandma went to the courts to legally get me, right? So my siblings and I lived with my grandma, and she took care of us for the bulk of our lives. Once we started living with her, she started put us in better schools, or she put us in Catholic school. She didn't have the money to do it, but she worked for the Catholic. She worked for the Archdiocese in Philadelphia, so I'm sure she got a
right,
discount there. And there was five of us, so I'm sure she was able to scrape whatever pennies she could and figure it out, right? But
right,
the issue about that is that, like, for me, people in my same circumstance, right? I have other friends that also went to Catholic school and stuff like that, and they decided to do other things like sell drugs. right? One of my best friends is in jail right now. For I don't want to get into specific of that, but he's in jail right now for, among other things, selling drugs. Right?
Mm.
Him and I went to the same school. We hung out together. We were really really close, and I just made a different decision. He was like, "Hey, you know what, Ty? Let's sell these drugs together. Let's do this. Let's do that." I'm like, "Nah, bro. Like, I'ma just chill. I'ma just do my thing." And we kind of like parted ways. And he made other decisions. End up getting kicked out of school. End up going to jail. X, Y, and Z. And a lot of people are in that same circumstance. And you can't blame the system for that. Like, that's not the system's fault. It's not the
Right.
system's fault that you decided to sell drugs. It's not the system's fault. Now,
Right.
and like it's all about the choices that we make. In 2023, racism isn't enough of a factor to make you poor and destitute and have to live with your mom and grandma no matter what. It's not.
Right.
It's if you take a pie, do like a pie chart, right? What would you say the percentages of of the system? Like, what's like out of you got the whole pie chart, right? 100% of the pie chart. Take a little sliver of this pie chart. What percentage do you think racism or the system, right? Let's say the system accounts for black men being unsuccessful?
Phew, man. I'd say, man, all right, I'm gonna give you a guess. I'd say maybe 30, 40%, maybe.
That's a
I
harsh.
think it's
That's a
less
lot.
than.
That's more than I would say. I
I'd
would
say,
say
yeah,
like
I'd say less than half for sure because I
right,
can't say it's that big of a it's that big of a percentage.
like
I
it.
can't
Like
say
I
that.
say, it factors in, but it's not gonna. It's not
Right.
gonna. It's not the determining factor as to whether or not you become a functioning middle class adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Right.
vast majority of it is your decisions. I would say like 10%. I mean, there are other
Mm.
things that factor into it. You know what I mean? I think luck has a part to do with it, but that's also, I would say, like 10%. You mean, some people are lucky to be born in into situations where they're loved, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't, right? So we'll have to take that into account too. But like, in this day and age, we all know what decisions will likely lead where, right? So I remember when I was a kid, and I watched Scarface with a bunch of my friends. A bunch of my friends like, yo, we all gonna be drug dealers. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We all gonna be Scarface, right? That was, yeah. Listen, I would venture to say that movie played a huge role in a lot of motherfuckers being killed. And a lot of motherfuckers, trying to become Scarface, end up getting locked the fuck up. Start trying to become
Yeah.
Scarface, getting like
Right.
we pay a lot of attention to, like, popular media, Paid in Full. You remember that shit, right? Paid
Yeah.
in Full,
That's my
State
shit.
Property. Everybody wanted to get
State
down and
prop.
lay down and all, you know what I mean? Like, so whereas I watched those same movies. I was exposed to those same things. I loved Beanie Siegel. What, you think I ain't had a truth? That album was insane. That album was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You think I didn't listen to that
Fact.
shit? But the issue is, I never thought, hey, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this and then be a gangster. I was like, yo, I'm gonna listen
Right.
to this. This is cool. I'm gonna get my ass
Right.
a job. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to live in
Right.
that life. I didn't think that led to anything, positive or great. Right. So that's the
Right.
decision that you got that I made that made me different from a lot of other people that I grew up with. So now that
Right.
I see them in passing now, I go back home, I get a haircut because I still get a haircut at my same barber, the same barber I grew up with. But I run into you know what I mean, my old friends that I used to have. We dab it up, have some words here and there, but it's like these dudes in and out of jail. I mean, a lot of these dudes were from 2-parent households too. So it's always like, I'm always like, when
Right.
I hear of dudes from 2 parents households and they like haven't really done anything with their lives, I look at them like, bro, you had like the advantage that most people wish they had, right? For
Yeah.
having 2 parents in the crib, being like, yo,
Right.
you know what I mean, like,
Right.
hey, Chris, you better make sure this work is done. But it's like
Right.
this whole like system shit is like, yo, it kills me because I look at people and I'm
Hmm.
like, so what the system argument like doesn't take into account is that like the whole choice aspect. It's like
Right.
that. So like basically, why try at all? Why try at all? If the system is just going to be like, oh, okay, cool, the system took over and I'm gonna just not do shit or whatever. I just watch Maury all day, eat chips, and just chill in the crib. I don't get it, man. Talking to people, talking to my loved ones, I'm talking to these motherfuckers. I'll be like, bro, like they don't give a fuck. They just like they're
No,
like
that's
it's
real.
we're too comfortable having, like I said, some beer, some weed, a place to smoke, and TV to watch the games on, so we can talk about while we're smoking and drinking with our friends.
Yeah.
And
No,
and,
that's
and
real.
that's my issue isn't that happens to some people. My issue is that it's for to be a normal functioning middle class adult male in the black community is kind of frowned upon because
Right.
people look at me like I'm weird. I got
Right.
family members, I got friends that look at me like, oh, bro, you a little different. I'm like, nigga, I'm a regular dude. I'm a regular middle class dude. I mean, I pay my bills, I pay my fucking taxes, I do
Pay
my
my
thing. I'm a
taxes.
good parent. You know what I mean? But like,
Right.
they look at that as like, and that's I'm exceptional, and I shouldn't be exceptional.
Right.
I should just be I'm like I should just be a regular, average, everyday dude because I don't think I'm anything special. All
Right.
I ever wanted to do was just make money, have a family, have a house, have a car.
Right.
That's not anything special. But
Right.
for us, it's kind of corny. Like regular,
Yeah.
like it's really frustrating because that those are like our values as black men. We're like black men like us. We're kind of corny,
Yeah.
and
Or
that's just how
perceived
it
as
is. It's
corny.
not. It's
Yeah. Or we're perceived as corny. Yeah. It's and it's something. And even as we were younger, like there's something in our subconsciousness that has made us like just like when people will say, "Oh, you talk white. Oh, you trying to be white? Or you trying?" It's like, no, I'm fucking articulate.
right,
I read books. I have an expansive vocabulary. I don't fucking sound white. I sound intelligent. I
right,
sound like I gotta have some fucking common sense. Like, but there's just there's like this stigma on intellectualism. This
right,
stigma on just wanting more or breaking outside of like the fucking block and this hood narrative and this like
right.
or the trap and this and this and that. And I'm like, nigga, I don't know everybody. Everybody doesn't want that, bro. Everybody doesn't want that, and that shit, fast money. Listen, it comes fast, but
Right.
it comes with trouble too. A lot of fucking trouble too. But I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what people
Let me
would
say
rather
this.
be rizzed up. Like, yeah,
Right. Let me say this. So before my grandma took me in and kind of got me out the foster care system and shit. I was living with my mom, right? And things was crazy. I could do whatever. I can go to school if I felt like it. If I didn't have to go to school, I didn't have to go to school. I was fucking third grade, fourth grade. It was my choice basically. Like, hey, bro,
right,
you can go if you want, but it is what it is. So I had the friends that I had during that time. We were we used to do shit together. We used to stay out all night together. We used to run around, do X, Y, and Z, and pretend run from the cops. Right, we see a cop, we run. Right, we were kids. We didn't know anything. I mean, we were just doing dumb, shoot dice on the like whatever. And so those same people, I came out kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third. So when I got to my grandma took over about like seventh grade, right? So I'm about what seventh grade? You about like 13, right? 13, 14, something like that. And so she took us and took myself and my siblings in, and as soon as she took us in, she put us in Catholic school. So I got out of the public school system, and she put us in Catholic school. I was terrified to go to Catholic school, right? I'm going to be with these smart ass motherfuckers. That was my idea, right? Of Catholic school at the time. I
yeah,
didn't know these motherfuckers was equally dumb, but like, before I got there, I'm like, okay, I'm so nervous, whatever, blah, blah. These dudes gonna be in there, like, doing like fucking calculus and shit, right? In eighth grade. So I get there. I spent a couple months there, or whatever, and I had to do a lot of my grandma. My grandma started paying for school, so she started being on my ass. So she like, bro, you need to do this. Let me check this. Let me check that. So I was like, all right, cool. But so I was kind of like MIA for like, let's say for like 6 months, right? I come back. I start hanging out outside again during summer. That first year that I'm in eighth grade, I'm hanging out with my same friends that I was hanging out with that I grew up with, basically, right? And they
yeah,
all looked at me kind of like, bro, you don't belong here no more, bro. And it was the craziest thing, and I'll never forget the feeling I had. I came out, trying to play basketball like I normally did. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, let's go to Hollow,
right,
let's do our thing, blah blah blah. They kind of was they was all in the corner where we used to hang out at, and before like niggas making plans like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It was like 7 of them, and I'm coming up there. I'm the eighth one. I'm like, I used to be the eighth one, right? I come up there, I'm
mhm,
like, oh shit, what's up? I see all the niggas in the corner. I'm trying to hang out. They looked at me like they hit me with the Forrest Gump joint, like you don't belong here, bro. And it was like a hurt piece. So I realized, so I'm like, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm like, okay, well, cool, fuck y'all too. And that's how I
right,
took it. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess, well, I'll stay in the house. You know what I mean? So I like kind of stayed in the house
yeah,
more, and then I went to high school, and I kind of met high school people and all that shit. And they was doing all these things, doing the wars on the block and all that, and selling drugs and all that shit, and going in and out of jail. And but I realized that like they looked at me like, bro, you're corny. You're not like us anymore. You used to be like
Right.
us when you was slumming it and you was like not giving a fuck about school and we was just chilling and we was,
Right.
doing. But like as soon as I start doing something different than them, not even that we still kids. You mean I'm still in school? It's not like I was like doing anything crazy. It's not like I got some crazy job and I'm out here driving around in some kind of Benz or something. It was just that
Yeah.
like because they perceive my situation as like, oh, you basically, bro, you uppity now. Like you ain't want to like. I
Oh
mean, so
my
I was
gosh.
ostracized for. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
even put myself in that school. My grandma put me in that school, and they looked at me like, bro, like you kind of corny. Like you're not like one of us anymore. And that shit took me into adulthood, bro. Because I'm like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. So I like they made it easy for me. I didn't have to choose a side. I was like, you know what? Well, fuck y'all. Like, all right, cool. Like, and most of my childhood
Right.
friends, I'll say, didn't fuck with me because of that. Strictly because I
Right.
went to a different school and I wanted to achieve more in life. I didn't want to disappoint my goddamn grandma.
Yeah.
They looked at me like, bro, you
Yeah.
kind of corny.
Yeah, it's still a big issue, bro, and it's only gotten worse because like when I think about this younger generation of people, like this young generation, and I know I'm probably showing my age when I say like
Mm-hmm.
they are so lost, bro. Like they're all about this hustle ethic. They're all about like ain't nobody trying to work a 9 to 5. Ain't nobody
Wow.
trying to be nobody's slave,
Mm-mm.
nobody's bitch. I ain't gonna do this. I'm not gonna
Right.
work here to make that. Like you know what I mean? They're all about fast cash, going
Yeah.
viral, being sauced up.
Right.
Your image on social media and what the
Right.
people can see, like all that is so much bigger than actually like building stability for yourself, preparing yourself to be able to provide for I mean just yourself but also for like a family because
Right.
ultimately you want to have a family, you want to pass down some legacy, you want to build on some wealth, but like it's gotten even worse with the younger generation, bro, where you got all these fucking kids, these guys still living at fucking home with mom,
Right.
playing fucking video games and on fucking Twitch, and I'm talking about the ones that's getting paid.
Right.
Some people get paid, not a
Yeah.
lot, some.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very
Very
small. We're not talking about the T
minority of
Grizzlies
motherfuckers.
and
Yeah.
all that. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about people who just be at home fucking bullshitting,
Yeah.
not doing shit, leeching off their parents, not like you know what I mean. Like, and I've seen a lot of that. It's becoming more and more common, bro. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it got worse since the pandemic and since quarantine opened up, but no, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, and it's just it's like this mentality of this victimhood mentality, but also like this culture of underachievers.
Yeah.
Just people who just don't really want that much or don't want to, who are just okay with the bare fucking minimum. If I got an apartment with a chair and a TV and my PS4
Right.
and some oodles and a box of oodles and noodles, like I'm chilling, bro. You know what I mean? If I got a little bit of money to float over, like it's like, but then there are women, and not to bring, it's talking about men who are just like, yo, where are the men who want more than that?
Right.
Where are the men? Those are the men that we want to build with. Those are the men that we want to link up with. But they find that they're not finding men who are either making money. And listen, you don't have to go to college route,
No,
but
you
like
don't.
have
No.
some way of getting
Trade.
income, ideally
Carpenter.
legally,
Painter.
trade something. You know what I mean? Something like
Trash man make
no,
bread too. You could be a great
yeah,
trash
no,
man
no.
for the city.
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro.
But
And
that's
and
lame.
and
That's not cool.
do you think that so we've been talking about this point for a while, and it's
Right.
an important point, but I also it makes me think about, do we think that we're setting up our young boys, excuse me, to become competent, productive citizens? You know what I mean? Because like think about school's
Right.
fucking bullshit, bro. It's not the way it was before. Now people
Mm-hmm.
teach to a test. If you go to a public school, you're not getting that quality education. They're just teaching you how
Mm-hmm.
to take a fucking test, and once you cram out all the answers and hopefully get a good answer, a good score, you forget that shit. You don't
Yeah.
retain the knowledge, you're just remembering it to regurgitate the shit on a standardized fucking test, and then you no longer need the knowledge
Right.
anymore. So like I also think about our education system, like how is it preparing our boys? Because our boys are already getting left behind. Like the girls are far outpacing us
Yeah.
in various subjects. Our young men are so behind academically, and I worry that our public school systems also are not helping our boys.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an environment that's helping them thrive. I think it's more conducive to like women and building our young girls, but for men I really think that we're failing our men, and they're not becoming competent productive citizens, and it's very concerning because I'm starting to see this it's starting I'm starting to see it now in real life. Like I'm
Yeah.
seeing all these weak fucking men who don't want to do shit and have low ambition, and it's fucking
Yeah.
sad, bro. It's fucking sad. So I'm with you on that, brother. I'm with you on
Yeah.
that. So I'm gonna try to segue with that one into another point, just so we can talk about a few things. But like, this lack of ambition too goes into this point, right? And the
Right.
one that I want to talk about was fucking fitness, bro. So like I said before, this one goes to you, fat, sloppy Captain Crunch,
Yeah.
bacon wrapped, deep fried, double stuffed Oreo eating motherfuckers. Like these
Yeah.
fat, sloppy, round motherfuckers. I look around too, and I also see that men are just let themselves go, bro.
Yeah.
Especially here in the States.
Yeah.
Like, man, like people were just pudgy, soft,
Yeah.
round, a
Yeah.
shape, some kind of
Yeah.
shape. And I'm like, what the fuck happened, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what happened, bro? And that's one thing too that I hear the shorties talk about. I was like, yeah, y'all want us to look good, but what about y'all? And I'm like, that's fucking facts. I'm not
Yeah.
saying go out and look like Thor or look like fucking Aquaman. No, no,
Yeah.
not that. But try to be the best version of yourself of whatever your body type is. Everybody got different body types. I don't
Right.
see people hitting weights. I just don't see it, bro. I see us getting fucking large. The poppies got
Right.
the poppy guts. The brothers got the fuck. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's nasty, bro. It's nasty, and that's something that I feel like we have to take more accountability for. Like as much as we give women shit for how they look, talking strictly about men, I'm like, y'all motherfuckers look sloppy, and
Yeah.
it's alarming to me because
Yeah.
black men are dying from fucking cardiac arrest, heart problems, high
Right.
cholesterol. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, bro? Like these are like some of the top killers of black men
Yeah.
every
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking year.
Right.
You know,
Uh,
so that's one thing that I feel like too. Yeah.
right. No, I agree. I agree. And like, all right, so you don't have to be like a super workout warrior, right? In order to be
Right.
like to try, right? In order to try to be healthy, right? So let's just take the gym out of it, right? Let's just say because listen, there's one thing I noticed about like that's just people in general that like if you ain't a gym person, bruh, ain't enough like you know what I mean, ain't enough what's that holiday? Ain't enough New Year's resolutions in the world to really keep you
Yeah.
in a goddamn gym, right? It's not enough.
Yeah.
But let's just say this because I had an argument with a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, about this shit, right? Talking about like the health of let's say black men specifically, right? And when I told him like, listen, bro, like we not, first of all, we don't really go to the doctor like that, right? We don't trust
Right.
doctors, right? We rather not go to the
Right.
doctor. Let's be honest about that shit. But
Right.
our diet, right? And I bring up the diet shit because I'm like, bro, like I'm talking to this friend of mine, and I'm like, listen, dude, I went to college with, we still very very close friends to this day. Talking to him, I'm like, listen, bro, like, why the fuck do we have the diet that we have and not go to the doctors and not fucking work out, right? Like, how the fuck you do all three things and expect to live a
Right.
nice long life? And what he says to me is, it's the system. He says to me, hear me out. It's the system because he's like, yo, like we don't have access to, the same kind of vegetables and the same kind of fruit that like the white man has.
Food deserts are real. Food deserts are real. I'll
Right.
give him that.
Okay.
But fuck all that. I mean, I hear you. Yeah.
Let's just take our so I can't speak for Oklahoma or let's take our little circle of motherfuckers in Philadelphia. Let's just say you don't even work. Let's say you have a couple of kids and you got an EBT card, right? You can still go to a fucking supermarket and buy broccoli and buy rice. Not buy broccoli, buy lettuce, buy like corn, buy fucking strawberries with the EBT card. It's not like you go to the counter and they be like, nah, sir, you can't buy this right. You can't buy this corn here. You can't buy this broccoli here. You can't buy these Brussels sprouts here. You can't
Right.
like you make the decision to not buy that and buy other shit. And
Soda.
it's our choice.
Yeah.
You can buy vegetables with a fucking EBT card.
Right.
So
Right.
so you're getting free money in the form of food stamps on the EBT card, but you're choosing not to buy the things that will be healthy for you.
Right.
You're choosing to buy the other stuff that's
Right.
not going to be that's going to fuck you up. That's going to make you have high cholesterol. It's going to make you have a heart condition. That's going to make you have a goddamn stroke at 50. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so,
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I
It's
can't
choice,
speak
bro.
for some kind of
It's
rural
choice.
area or some shit like that. It's your fucking choice. You
You
just
can
don't
still
want
make a choice.
You just don't want to fucking eat.
I,
What it takes to eat in order to be healthy. And I just want to say this one thing, and I really don't want to throw like any family members under the bus, right? But there was a time that I was living with a family member, right? And she had some health issues that I knew about, right?
Mhm.
So I kind of took it upon myself to like make the food in the house for herself and her and myself, right? So I would make bland shit. I would make some baked chicken breast, some like like with like a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, like try to season it a little bit, but not too much because obviously the seasoning, the salt, and all that shit would be fucking killing us, right? it'll turn like all that seasoning and shit will turn a healthy meal into an unhealthy meal in a goddamn heartbeat, right?
Right.
Like you
Right.
just like broccoli, right? You throw a bunch of cheese on broccoli, that shit ain't fucking nutritious anymore.
Right.
It's fucking artery clogger, right? So I used to make food. I used to I mean like chicken breast, fucking salmon or salmon. I mean like man, holy shit, and but like not season it too much. Give it to her, and she used to be like, all right, cool, like I mean like all right, thanks, and like wait for me to walk away. I come back, see her eating it, and it's like mad shit on top of it, right? It's like it's like sour cream, all this shit. I'm sitting there like, I what can I say, right? What I'm gonna do is take it and just like slam it against the wall type of shit. Like I'm just like I just pretend not to notice. I'm like, bro, like there's nothing else
Uh,
I can do. You know what I mean? Like I made you the meal, I gave it to you. I'm like, yo, eat it. But she never ate it in front of me because she waited till I walked away. And since she seasoned it to her
right.
liking. So by the time you
Yeah.
season it to your liking, it's not what I made.
Right.
And it's just
Right.
like but it's a
Yeah.
choice. It's a choice.
It is a choice. It's a choice, bro, and it's our people really don't fully understand our relationship to food, especially now that food is more refined, more processed. Now
Right.
that there's sugar in everything, and sugar is extremely addictive as well. Like
Right.
I've got family members now who still have the same. See, I was obese growing up.
Mm.
Growing up, I had my ugly duckling phase, and I didn't.
Mm.
It wasn't until high school when I got some height and my weight evened out, and then I finally broke out of my shell. But
Yeah.
like I grew up fat. And then when I got to college, I didn't gain the freshman 15. I gained the freshman 30, bro. I shot
Really.
up to like 245, but a sloppy 245. So like I've
Mm.
had my fluctuations with weight. Not to
245 is a
mention
lot.
I'm a
That's a lot.
yeah, well,
That's a lot.
bro, I was a sloppy 245,
That's a
bro. You
lot
know
of
what I
weight.
mean? A sloppy 245.
Right.
But I had to stop and be like, yo, I can't do this anymore, bro.
Right.
Fucking knees was hurting. I was out of breath. I hated the way that I looked. And you know what? The first thing I did was I cut out soda. When I cut out soda, I lost about 15 pounds in like 3 months just from cutting out soda, bro. I told myself I can't do soda no more. And there's so much
Right.
sugar in one can of soda, and I feel like people just don't understand how much sugar is in a can of soda or in a
Right.
fucking Snickers bar. Like the
Right.
Japanese diet, I think they limit it to like 40 grams of sugar a day. One can of soda has about 59 grams of sugar in it. So that already goes past
Right.
the highest you can eat in the Japanese diet. One can of soda, you go over that, and people will drink one or two couple of sodas a day. Maybe you'll drink a coffee and put the creamer in it, and you see the
Right.
fucking sugar congealing in the bottom of the cup, like Dunkin' Donuts, where all the fucking sugar is at the bottom, and you're like, that's all sugar, bro. Like,
Mm.
it's just our relationship with food, and it's sad, bro, because like I said, to keep it the men, like, we look fucking sloppy.
Yeah.
It is killing us, and we look gross. And I feel like we really need to do better with what it is that we're eating. And if you can't make it to a gym, it costs you nothing to do fucking push-ups. They got pull-up bars in the fucking playgrounds.
Yeah.
You can do something somewhere. Just be active,
Yeah.
play fucking ball, do something, bro.
Right.
Take a bike ride. Like,
Yeah.
we just have to do better, bro. We have to
Yeah.
do
Men.
better with this
Men are.
fitness shit, bro.
We're really quick to point out when women are fat, but we don't really acknowledge when we're fat. Like,
Yeah, no,
like
no,
I mean,
yeah.
like men are kind of like yeah. It's just it's unfortunate, but I mean,
It's nasty, bro. But I
yeah,
think that's something that we could definitely work on as well. Is that shit?
yeah.
So there's that.
How
So I
about
mean,
that?
there's not much.
How about we fucking exercise and diet? And if the whole thing is, hey, you know what, we don't want to go to the doctors as black men. How about like we have less of a reason to go to the doctors if we eat right and we exercise? I mean, we still gotta go, right? But like, if you can't do all three, right? Like you gotta
Right.
pick a battle. You gotta pick a struggle. That's the phrase, right? Pick a struggle, bro. Like
Yeah.
you can't do all three.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and you gotta want it. You gotta want it. You have to be disciplined and you have to be consistent. You have to want it. And I just
yeah,
see the guys just don't have the discipline. They
nah,
don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want it. But that's one thing that I know men can do better, bro. Because I can see it. I got fucking eyes, bro. I'm like,
yeah,
we're getting large, and this shit is scary. And even little kids too, though. Like little kids are fucking large. There are some people
yeah,
who don't even know what it's like to be a healthy weight, ever. Like ever. There are people who are fat as a kid, then fat as in middle school, fat in high school, like
yeah,
fat adult. They never know what it's like to ever have a healthy BMI, bro.
right.
Like ever. And that shit is scary to me. And
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
sad because
I
they never
agree.
had a fucking choice. Um All right, so there's that one.
Yeah.
So then a couple other things that we talked about as far as things that we wanted to address. We're gonna get to the last one that you, I well, not the last one, but I know you talked about this notion of fatherhood, right? And
Yeah.
there's this narrative of fatherhood now going on. So just elaborate a little bit on that, and then we can
Right.
go on this
So
aspect.
what I wanted to talk about was the notion of fatherhood, particularly in the black community, right? To where like we're like deadbeats, we like not shit, we're not there for our kids, right? And we have a bunch of baby mamas, right? Now, statistically, it's not true because
Right,
according to the CDC, black men are the most present fathers, X, Y, and Z. But
right,
I think like the narrative is it's unfair on one end, but on the other end, it's like you could point to too many. I think you could point to too many examples as to why we have that narrative, right? For example, the guy
right.
the guy with the seven baby moms and seven
Oh
kids.
gosh,
The
bro.
dude, his name is House of Hypocrites, I believe. I believe it's on Instagram. Oh, his name is House of Hypocrites, right? And he went viral a couple of months ago. He was on Kendra G show for at one point, trying to find a woman, I guess, to find baby mom number 8. And
Yeah.
before that, the lead attorney talked about him, and he was on another show before. He was the subject of another show, but oh, he talked to Pearl.
Okay.
He had an interview with Pearl, and he was basically saying like, you saw his videos, right?
Yeah, I've seen him.
You seen him, yeah. So for people who didn't see him, his he is very proud about the fact that he has 7 baby moms, 7 kids, and he's not paying child support for any of them because he didn't want. He told the baby moms, each baby mom, at a certain point, to get an abortion or to take the Plan B. Since they chose not to get an abortion or get the Plan B, he feels like he shouldn't be responsible, for taking care of them, either physically or financially. And
Nah, that's
he's
fuck
very
shit.
adamant about the fact that um, they can't. The women don't know his real name, so they can't find him to subpoena him to get him on child support. And they've tried. He
That's
he
wild.
he's very proud about it. He's like, these
That's
hoes don't know my real name,
wild.
blah blah blah, blah. And it's very embarrassing to like for him to be like a part of like the black community because like he's like all the stereotypes of a deadbeat dad all rolled in one. And
He,
it's pretty embarrassing. Like I don't really understand if his story is true, right? Because I heard
yeah,
he might be
yeah.
trying to get clout, right? But if his story is true, it's fucking embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing because like say he went viral, right? But the dude that take his kids to school every day, pack their lunches and all that shit, like he don't go viral, but this motherfucker goes viral, and you see people
Right,
look at him, and
right.
anybody, let's say anybody who wants to have high five each other on this narrative of black men not being present fathers could do that because his story, look, they could just tap each other. Look at this nigga. This how they
Yeah,
are. This how they are. So he makes
right.
us look
But
crazy.
him, Future,
Future makes us look
this fuck
crazy,
nigga that this nigga, what the fuck is his name? Nick Cannon, having all these fucking goddamn kids, and
bruh.
they
He
don't even
is
know each other. They
wild,
don't
yo.
kick it with each other. Like he's rarely there. Like he's not really present. Like this, the point that we were trying to discuss with men that we have to work through is we have to be more responsible with our seed.
Right,
Like men have just been irresponsible with their fucking semen and with who they impregnate and how they impregnate them and how many kids they got out there that we know motherfuckers like us who actually make money and pay fucking taxes are paying for. You know what I mean? Because
right,
after a while, those kids grow up and they take money from the system. This
right.
fucking system they keep talking about is holding them
Yeah,
down. We pay into that fucking
yeah,
system. We taking care of these kids.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
we giving the fucking access card and the food stamps and all
Right,
that shit and all the government programs. We pay into that shit.
yeah,
But that's fuck shit, bro. You have to be responsible with your seed. Like
right,
you like and it, like and that one guy, the first guy used an example. It's like, okay, so you didn't want to have any kids, so why did you keep going around fucking women raw? If you didn't want to have kids, why are you out there fucking women without protection? Why
he's
don't
like,
you have a
he's very
vasectomy? Why
very
don't you get a
vocal.
vasectomy?
Right. He's very. He's. I'm not. First of all, he's like, I'm not
No,
doing it
that's
because I
fuck
think
shit,
somebody
bro.
on a. I think he was on Anton Daniels show too. They asked him like, "Yo, like, why don't you get a vasectomy?" He was like, "I ain't doing that shit. Fuck out of here."
Right
And
now, fuck that nigga, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
he makes us look bad. But I got a funny story, right? Well, it's not really funny, but there is like to go along with this like deadbeat dad shit, right? There's this dude I grew up with. He was really my brother's friend, but I spent a lot of time around him dudes and all that shit, and he's my older brother's friend. And like they ended up like my brother, him, and like four other dudes end up like running a train on this let's say large white chick from Norristown. She used to come down, hang out with them, blah blah. This is during the time I was in college. So I get a
608.
phone call, and I hear about the story. Basically, the story is they get a hotel room. They all go in this room together. Blah blah. They had a fun, and they did. Couple months late, like 2 months later, she found out she's pregnant supposedly from that encounter, right? So, but the problem is nobody was wearing protection at that time, so there was no way to find out.
Bro.
so,
Oh my
there's
god.
no way to like kind of pinpoint like, hey, this was the dude that did it, right? So the baby gets born, and when the baby gets born, she looks just like the bull, right? Like just like the bull. And so of course he's like, that ain't my kid, like, fuck out of here, blah, blah. So he's like trying to like fight it, right? And she goes, the woman that had the baby goes to the dude's mom, and the mom's like, yo, let's get this DNA test done. So they get the DNA test done. It turns out it is his kid, right? But
Ooh,
even
got
after
him.
knowing that it's still his kid, he's like, I'm not taking care of it, because like he was so embarrassed that like he got a kid out of that circumstance, that he's like, people are going to clown me, blah blah blah. So he used that as kind of like a crutch to be like, listen, it's too embarrassing to be around his kid, because of how it was conceived and who the mom is, because the mom was obviously, if
Right.
you're on that type of time, then that's not somebody you really want to take
Right.
to, I don't know, Red
Damn, bro.
Lobster. So,
Take
but
the
he
L,
went
bro.
through, and this happened. This probably was like 11, like when I was in college. So this is like what, 15 years ago, something like that. And so this kid is
Yeah.
like 15, 16 now, and he made it a point to never take care of this kid, and
That's
it
fucked
was,
up, bro.
yeah, it's really fucked up.
That's
And
fucked up.
like, if I knew what I knew now, right, like I wouldn't associate with him, like, because I don't associate with anybody, bro. Like anybody I bang with in my life take care of their goddamn kid and or kid.
Right.
I don't associate with people who don't do that shit, because
Same,
I don't
bro.
respect
I
men that
can't.
don't do that shit,
I
right? Like some
can't,
of my
bro.
closest
Right.
friends, like I'm like, bro, like the people that I value most in my life are people are men who like they don't play with their kids. They like, bro, listen, like,
Right.
this is my priority, and it is what it
Right.
is. I'll see you when I see you, right? So they like, listen, Ty, I
Absolutely.
can't hang out with you, I can't drink with you, I gotta take care of my kid. I respect that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I feel like if it was shamed a little bit more, you know what I mean? Maybe it would turn out differently. Like, is this the dude I'm talking about back then? He wasn't shamed. He was like, people still hung out with him. They spoke to him. They just used it as like a comedy thing. Like it's something to laugh about when they get high and drunk. But like me, I wouldn't have hung out with him at all.
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm
fuck
saying?
that,
I'm like,
man.
bro, like, I don't respect that shit. There's some kid out here with your DNA that you just like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Like, it is what it is. I don't like his mom. His mom's a whore, so I'm not gonna. And I'm like,
No,
bro,
that's
like,
fucked up.
you participated in this. You're also to blame.
Right. Take
So yeah, I don't
accountability.
respect
Take
that shit. I
accountability.
don't
And
respect
that's some
any
fuck
guy
shit too.
who moves like that.
Men who don't take care of the kids because they hate or can't stand the mom, that's
Yeah,
fuck shit,
it's fuck
bro.
shit.
Like, the
Yeah,
kid has nothing to do with your relationship with
yeah,
the mom. Whether
yeah.
how that child was conceived or how you feel about that woman, it doesn't fucking matter. The child is here, bro.
It's,
Like,
I
take care of that child.
100% blame the guys, because there are also a lot of people. I'm sure you probably can attest to this. How many people do you know that like would have a they didn't get married, right? But they had a baby with somebody, right? They were in a relationship with. If that relationship doesn't work, and the woman starts fucking another dude, gets in a relationship with another dude, guys, well, I can speak,
Right.
black guys anyway, are like, well, go get that nigga to take care of it. Like, nigga, what you like?
Right.
This is your kid,
I've
though.
seen that too. I've
This
seen
is
that.
your fucking kid. But you're like, well, you
Right.
fucking him now. Go get him to take care of it. Basically, they're
Right.
like, if I'm not fucking you, I'm not taking care of my kid.
Fuck
That's
shit.
not cool. Again, I have to point out
Fuck shit.
the fact that these are uncommon instances based off CDC numbers. But it's
Right.
in my life, I've seen it far too often. You know what I mean? And it's embarrassing. I'm not even gonna say that the relationship, but like I've seen plenty of motherfuckers be like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
taking
that's
care of
real.
my own kid because I'm not fucking you anymore.
Right.
That's
Right. Or
crazy.
she put me on
That's
child support.
or she
Or
put me
she
on
put me
child
on child
support.
support, so now fuck that. She can do whatever she got to do with the child support money. Don't ask me for shit. Don't fucking
Right,
call me. I'm not there. And it's like, bro, but it's funny. This is the segue to one of the other points, which is like, you are more than just a fucking paycheck. And there
right,
are some men who legit think that if I'm paying bills, if I'm paying child support, or if I cover all the bills, that is the extent of my responsibility as a parent.
right.
Like that is it. I don't have to spend time with the kids. I don't have to go to fucking award ceremonies, sports games. I don't got to spend time with the holidays or celebrate birthdays. I
Yeah,
pay all the bills, and then I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do after that. Don't bother me for anything. And it's like, but fathers are so much more important, and they're so much more than just a fucking paycheck,
right.
bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so that shit pisses me off, man. It fucking pisses me off.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm with you, bro. I'm fucking with you, man. Those men have to do better, and I don't keep those names in my fucking circles either, bro, because I ride hard for my daughters. Like you know what I mean? And it's just, yeah, it's crazy, bro. I ride hard for my baby girls. I can't see how some men could just have kids and not give a fuck about them, bro. It blows my fucking mind,
like
and it's
it's
sad.
like bro, it's your DNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, she
Right,
fucking somebody else. She may have a baby with another nigga. That's irrelevant. Like that's your.
right,
That's not like you didn't marry her. I mean, or whatever. Like, okay,
right,
cool, whatever. Like, or the relationship didn't work. You got divorced. Whatever it is. But it's your fucking DNA, bro. Like, you have to make sure this
right,
thing's okay. Like,
right,
I don't know.
right.
Listen. I wish I could understand the philosophy behind it. It just seems like their feelings are hurt. I
Yeah,
guess you know what I mean. And it's like maybe they still want to be with the woman, and they're like,
right,
well, because I can't relate. I can't speak on that, right? Because
yeah,
you know, like like
right.
like for me, it's like okay,
Bruh.
like women are temporary, bro, but your DNA is still like like look like she can leave you tomorrow, but that's still your kid no matter what. Your kid
Right,
can't leave you tomorrow, right? Even if they hate
right,
you and they be like, you know what, I hate you, daddy, blah blah blah. She still has your fucking genetic makeup. You know what I mean?
right,
So like she can talk all that shit she wants. She can get a new dad. She can get a stepdad, whatever the fuck. But that's still
right,
your fucking like. How can you look? How can you like know that you have somebody with like that's a little you in this world, and kind of just be like, all
right.
right, well, I mean, I'm not fucking your mom no more, so get your mom new boyfriend to
Yeah,
take care of you.
right.
Like
And that's what
some
scares me
bullshit.
too. Like this growing acceptance of baby mama and baby daddy culture too is fucking.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me because it creates these environments or these situations where you have those things where you have the
Right.
father who's just like, no, fuck that. I'm not taking care of that kid. And then here you go, another single mom with this kid with no male figure in their fucking
Yeah.
household. You know what I mean? And these could become this kid already is at every statistical disadvantage because that father's like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna be a part of that.
Yeah.
So that man, it's so much, bro. It's so much with that, and yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. Dick discipline, protect your seed, be
Yeah.
responsible with your seed. Please, man, we
Pick a
have
good
to do
partner,
better.
man. Pick a good partner. Obviously,
Pick a
some
better
things don't work
partner.
out. You could vet properly. Some things don't work out. People change. You know, go in opposite directions with things. I mean, it's happened to me.
Right,
You know what I mean? But
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
either
and
way, take care of your goddamn kids, man. Like, take care of
please,
your goddamn kids. Now,
because
I'm
if
not
not, we
talking
have to deal
about
with
the
these motherfuckers.
circumstances and the issues that are kind of like outside the man's control, right? So if you trying to be around and she's just super bitter and you know what I mean you going to jail and all that type of shit, like obviously that's a different conversation. But um, if she's like, I mean, let's just say hypothetically, right, in this scenario, she like, hey, I want your help. You know what I mean? Like, I need you to be
Right,
around. And you're drawn. You're like, oh no, because you fucking somebody else, right? Drawn like that, like you are wrong, right? And
right,
as a kid, when I saw this shit growing up as a kid, I mean, if I know what I knew now, I would have pointed that shit out. But I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I just thought that it just was what it was. I'm
right,
like, okay, well, they just fighting, and I mean, whatever. They
right.
just, I mean, maybe they'll get over it. But
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Well, I'm with you on that one, bro. I'm definitely with you on that one. All right, let's try to segue because we're trying to make this into a couple installments, so like we're getting close to that end mark. So I know we talked about this underachievers. we talked about this narrative of fatherhood and deadbeat dads and how we have to take over this narrative and make a better, more positive narrative, and
Yeah,
also promote fathers being engaged and being and spending time with their kids, like things like that. Like let's promote that, let's praise that. We talk about the victim mentality and motherfuckers just making excuses for why they're not where they are in life. You know, what I mean, always blame it on something, on
right,
someone, and just fucking excuses and all that shit.
right.
We
Unhealthy
talked
ass
about
men.
yeah, right, unhealthy fucking fat sloppy ass men. We talked about men being more than their paychecks. You know, we are more than just our paychecks. We have to contribute more than just I pay bills. Like
Yeah.
that's not enough. That's not enough. You know what I mean? And so if there was like one last one that we wanted to like one more that we wanted to address just for now, what do you think that would be? Because I know I said, well, let me see, what did I have? I had yeah, actually we touched on we touched on so many of them like as we talked about other ones, you know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out like if I could just pick one, what I would say is we have to we need we need leaders.
Right.
And I know
I
we
can
have leaders already. You know, if you go around every hood, you can see gangs. You see the people who got all the drip and who are call the shots and all the shorties like him, and
see. Yeah.
he's like the main thug or the alpha,
Yeah.
or we have people in pockets. We see leadership in our communities, but
Yeah.
what I'm
That's
talking about is
I
that
would argue that
leadership.
that's negative leadership, but
Right, 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 right. So
right,
leadership can be good or bad. You know what I mean?
right.
You could have an amazing leader but have a bad cause. Like think
Yeah.
about, not to say that, but just an example. Like think about Hitler,
Right.
amazing leader, but look what the fuck this nigga was doing with his abilities to lead people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can do bad things with good leadership.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm talking about building boys and making sure that they are on the path to become men, so
Let
that
me
they
say
can
this.
be in households.
Right. So I think what would serve us good, right, as black men, right, and I mean in general, right, is to value things that that would improve us as a society, right? Let me give you an example, right? Years ago, this was I definitely was in college when this happened, but I remember Stephen A. Right, Stephen A. Smith, right? I know a lot of people hate him. He's very controversial, right? I happen to like him, but listen, I think he's very controversial, right? I think he's a great sportscaster. But anyway, he goes. I remember watching First Take years ago, and he's like, "Yo, there was a conversation about like how black men always want to be entertainers, basketball players. They want to be the next LeBron James. So that's basically it's like be LeBron James or be nothing, right? Like it's like okay,
Right,
well if I didn't make it in the league, I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm gonna just chill in the block, right? Like it just get four wings and some French shrimp fried rice, right? And so he was like, yo, every black male, right, growing up is not going to be in the NBA. Every black male is not going to play basketball. He's not going to play football. He's not going to be an entertainer, right? And he was like, and he got a lot of shit for that too. For I remember back then. But he was like, but what you can do is you could be Stephen A. He's like, you can go to school, you can apply yourself, and you can work hard. You can take, you can progress gradually, right? Like it may not happen overnight, but
right,
you can be Stephen A. Smith. He's like, you'll never be LeBron James. You'll never, bruh. Like there are like what 420 NBA basketball players in America, right? Like those dudes are like the cream of the crop, the fucking less than 0.5% of the goddamn pop. What less than point?
right.
I don't even know what percent they goddamn are, right?
It's really small, bro.
Like a fraction of a goddamn percentage of motherfuckers. And these dudes are like freak athletes, all of them. Even the 15th dude on the bitch that you never seen play that always wears sweatpants. That dude is the
He
shit in
nice.
his town. He's the
Right,
absolute. He's the fucking man. He will bust everybody ass every watch. You
right.
remember fucking Brian Scalabrine? You remember the big ass white
I
dude,
remember the
bro,
scowling.
from the fucking Celtics. This dude was on a show called Pros versus Joes a couple years ago. I don't know if you ever saw it, but he I saw an episode on him. He was talking to he played against this average Joe that was like killing it in his like YMCA league and was talking shit like yeah I'll bust Brian Scalabrine ass. This was after he retired from the league, mind you. Bro, Brian Scalabrine traveled to wherever fuck I don't remember what state it was. He traveled to wherever he was, had the camera crew with him and all that shit, and bust dude ass. Right? It's just like straight up bust. But it's like, bro, like you see these motherfuckers on TV and you compare them to like LeBron or Shaq or something like that. Like these dudes in the league are still goddamn incredible. Right? But anyway, my point is it's extremely unlikely that you're gonna become a fucking basketball player. It's extremely unlikely you're
Right,
gonna become a football player. Even if you take into account basketball teams in other countries. There are other good ass players in them fucking countries. You think they just sitting around waiting for Timmy on the block to come and play basketball for him? No. A lot of the best players right now ain't even from America. Giannis ain't from America. Luka ain't from America.
Right.
Joker ain't from America. These niggas is balling out here. Like, my
Yeah.
thing is, and the point Stephen A was trying to make is that, like, yo, us as a community, we spend so much time, trying to make it big and become millionaires. How about we normalize, normal fucking jobs that we actually have a chance at doing? Because you will never,
Right.
you will never become, like, if you're not on some kind of list or like even D1 athletes, bro, a lot of these motherfuckers, 99% of them get regular jobs
Right.
because they weren't good enough to make it in the league. And you know how good you got to be a D1 athlete?
Right.
Like, bro, like, it's just, it's
It
very,
sucks
very
that
unfortunate because we value
yeah.
these things and
Right.
we don't realize how impossible it is.
Yeah. Right. It's very unlikely that every child is going to be a fucking pro athlete, and that's why I hate that we kind of funnel our kids into certain tracks. Like, you're either going to be the athlete, or you're going to be the rapper, or you're going to be a trap, or you're going to be in the trap. You know what I mean? And
Or
if
scammer, right?
it's
Scammer
one
is hot right now.
or scamming somehow, you know what I mean? And it's like, but like our young boys feel like they're so limited into those fucking paths, and we have to show them a better way, bro, because we need to build them into men. We need to build them into leaders because we need them, bro. We need men to be strong again.
Right,
Make men great again. You know what I
right,
mean? That's what we want to do. We want to make men great again. We want our boys
right.
to become
But we
fucking
gotta
productive men.
figure out a way to make, like being a middle class person, which most people are ever going to be in their lives, right? You and I, like, the odds are we'll never be super millionaires, right? We'll
Right.
never have that kind of lifestyle to where, like, and that's the case for 99% of the goddamn world, right? Like I said, these people
Yeah.
pretending to live these lavish lives on Instagram aren't really living those lives, bro. Like, they're faking. Like,
Right.
I was what them people in them reality shows, bro, like Atlanta, whatever, bro. They be renting them houses. They don't really live there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we glorify a life and a standard of living that's unrealistic. Like, why do
I
we need
I
to
I
normalize being
agree
a
with you.
teacher? We need to normalize wanting to be a firefighter. We need to normalize wanting to be a plumber, right? Even, let's just say you super hotel black power shit, right, bro? You could be a black owned plumber. You could work for your own black owned company that has all black
Right.
plumbers, right? Or fucking black owned carpenters or whatever the fuck. Like,
Right.
we're not all going to be millionaires. So to glorify and
Right.
glamorize this life that's absolutely impossible,
It's delusional.
it's flat out delusion. Because, right,
It's
because
delusion.
most people of any race aren't going to be millionaires.
Right.
Right,
Facts.
most white people aren't going to be 99.9% of white people ain't going to be millionaires. 99.9% of black people ain't going to be millionaires. 99% of our Hispanic, like, it's just not
Yeah.
gonna fucking happen. So,
Bro,
like,
I would love
let's
to have this conversation with like a bigger panel or group of people. Like, we got to get some people on. Like, we got to have this joint where, like, we have people talking about, like, what are some issues with men that we really need to work through and have more male perspectives, because this is extremely important. I feel like we could talk about this for fucking hours, and I'm reason I'm saying this because we're reaching that hour mark, which means
right,
that we have to do the cutoff so we could upload this one as a first installment. But listen, we need to pick this conversation back up, bro, because we could talk about this for hours, Ty. Like, this is extremely important. But we gotta plan and prep and make it like a panel so we can have, like, people either call in or join
yeah,
us and
with
really have
different
this
perspectives
conversation
too.
too,
Like, I
and
got a
flesh
couple
out
people.
more perspectives. I want to do that, but I don't want to end the dialogue when I know we're pushing that hour
Right,
mark, and we're gonna keep it at that. We're gonna cap it.
right, right.
So if you we will pick this back up.
Yeah,
So please tune into the podcast because I believe we're hitting up our hour. We have an hour for a quota for the day.
yeah,
But we will upload this, and there will be more coming with this topic. We do want to make men great again. Um, and I guess I should close now because we're probably running out of space. But anyway, y'all, we're gonna upload this. Chime in. Let us know any final thoughts, Ty.
yeah. I gotta hit this treadmill so I don't become like one of them fat fucks we were talking about.
I
So,
know, bro. I hit the gym today. I did my session today, so I'm trying to get it in, bro. But Ty, I promise we're gonna pick this back up because I love this topic and there's so much more to say. And we're gonna invite some more perspectives, maybe get some shorties in here to talk about this as well.
right, right, right.
But keep those thoughts in mind. But until next time, Ty, take it easy, be safe, family. Thank you for joining us again for another episode. Make men great again. There'll be another installment, so stay
All right.
tuned.
Yeah, we'll see y'all soon, man.
Y'all take care.